Hi. Hey, everybody. What's up? It's LA with Live Well LA. It's been so long since I've seen you guys. I've been recuperating and recovering. Summer has been exhausting, but I'm so happy to be back. In today's video, I want to talk about Jackie Christie and her daughter Chantal from Basketball Wives LA. The episode on Monday night was so triggering and so unexpected. And I thought that that episode could allow us to have a deeper discussion about the Black community and the relationships between mother and daughter, how they can oftentimes turn toxic unexpectedly. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk to you about my company, Sloan Credit and Consulting. What we do, we're bankruptcy filing experts. We are credit repair experts. We move fast to fix your credit. So if you're in the market for a new home or your first home, if you're about to buy a car or you're running from a repossession, you have shut-off notices, eviction notices, or foreclosure, we can help you at Sloan Credit and Consulting. I will put all of the information for Sloan Credit and Consulting down in the description box so you can reach out to us whenever you need help. Do not be ashamed. Do not be embarrassed. We've helped our clients eliminate millions of dollars in debt. We've been in business for 10 plus years, and I'm so excited to help my YouTube family get back on their feet, reestablish, rebuild, or just boost their credit. So, whatever your needs are, Sloan Credit can help you. So, let's get into the intro and then we'll get into the discussion. Yeah, Drake was patting you on the back, all the rappers. Hey, what's up? Back again. Hey, what's up? It's up to you to do the research. It's up to you. Okay, so I did take some notes, but before we get into it, I want to show a brief snippet from a TikTok clip about what happened on Basketball Wives LA between Jackie Christie. It was extremely hard to watch, and not because I am triggered because I have a relationship like that with my mother, but because I think in the Black community, we automatically just have a level of respect for our mothers. And a lot of times I've been kind of brainwashed and naive because I have an amazing relationship with my mother. And that led me to believe that every girl had that relationship, or they had something that was like immediately, like, so bad that the mom was cut off from communication. But I never really thought about just having a toxic relationship with your mother and that person still being in your lives, still raising you every day. So, what I'm trying to understand as I grow in my life, I'm trying to understand a relationship like Shani's and Jackie's, in which you have this turmoil, but you're not able to fix it, but the person is in your life every single day. That is so bewildering to me. And it makes me wonder, how do you fix that? I think that the just inherent and natural respect that we have for our mothers, especially in the Black community, do we recognize that that respect maybe takes away a bit of their humanity? How many of us have seen our mothers break? How many of us have seen our mothers cry? I don't know if Black women are even allowed to be soft in their own homes. I told a friend of mine one time that I was stressed after the divorce and I was just going through it and I was pushing through. I didn't have a moment for myself. And what I realized is that I'm always on. I'm always performing as this perfect mom for my child, as the woman who has it all together at work, as a for my mother who's an aging woman, of course, I don't want to seem like, I really, really could use some help. I'm trying to look like I have it all together, at the same time raise a child to be healthy. I don't have the capacity, I don't have the room to break down. So Black women that are older than me that raised us, and Shani's a bit younger than me, but the women like Jackie and my mom, you know, Jackie's had a privileged life, but these are still Black women fighting systems, fighting spouses or live-in boyfriends, sometimes fighting even their own mother's shadows and the trauma and turmoil from those relationships. I often say to people, you have to realize that we're all, even our parents, are doing life for the first time. I think that's so profound when you think about it, that none of us have a rule book to get it perfect. I don't even think life is about perfection. So imagine having this small human that you're responsible for. And I'm not making excuses for Jackie, but I'm just trying to open up the space for her. I think what Chantal did last night was so abhorrent. It is like burned into my memory. So let's watch a quick clip of what happened last night and then we'll continue. Okay, I'm going to share the screen and we're going to watch together. I'm going to pause it just to make sure that I am not violating any fair use rights for the video I'm about to share with you all. So give me 1 second. We're going to pull this up. And I have the audio added as well so you can see. And let me pull myself to the side. All right, guys, here we go. I'm going to press play and then we'll come back and talk about my thoughts on the interaction.
Look how you look as a mother, Jackie. If you don't get, you look as a mother. Don't touch me.
Okay, so what you see is the end of Shani coming to her mother Jackie's room. Jackie is in the leopard print, and you're seeing Jackie say, Chantal, not tonight. Thank you. Leave the room. So she probably grazed her elbow or, touched her to escort her out. Shani, goodbye. So in response, it looks like Shani pushed Jackie. Jackie hit the wall. And what you're going to see next is
You look as a mother now.
I went back and I watched it and I slowed it down. If you look closely, Chantel's hand.
so I think a lot of people are trying to, let's just watch
So
this
we
again.
all agree that Chantal has been antagonizing Jackie this entire season.
Bye. Oh, go ahead. Thank you. You look very cute. Thank you for wasting my time. Bye-bye. Thank you, bro.
So again, I don't want to get hit with any copyright problems with my video, but the second video we're going to watch on TikTok, it is her name's Nosy Bystander. She's talking about how Jackie has been antagonized by her daughter most of the season. There was no reason for Chantal to even be on the show, but she was cast on the show. When I saw Chantal cast on the show, I thought her and Jackie were going to be a tag team that would get the other girls in check when somebody came for one or the other of them. She would have her little sidekick because Chantal has appeared on the show before and they seemed okay. So it's only recently, and the biggest change in their relationship is that Chantal has had another child since we last saw her on screen. So I don't know if that played into it, if Chantal may be going through some maybe postpartum because the baby is maybe just 1 now. I don't know. But it is absolutely factual that Chantal has been antagonizing her mother. And so if you think about the relationships that we have with our mothers in the Black community, it's so difficult to really be able to heal from that, move on, if you're not able to address it maturely. And I think that's a huge, huge response in the Black community, that I'm going to fight it. I'm not going to be vulnerable and work through it. And I think that's the most important part. We also have to remember that our mothers, they didn't talk about mental health. They didn't seek therapy. There was none of that they did in those days, coming up with multiple children, men who had, free range to do what they wanted in their homes, outside of their homes. Our mothers are the generation that really got the rights to be independent and to stand up for themselves. So our mothers are the generation that were able to stand up for themselves, were able to work real jobs, were able to get real education, were able to, our mothers and their mothers, depending on the age, those were the women that were able to do that. But our grandparents and our great-grandparents, mental health check-ins, mental health wellness was not a thing. So for Shani to be approaching this so viciously is very problematic for me. She has done nothing but continually link up with another cast member, Brittany Renner, who Brittany Renner is not a Black woman. I believe her mother is not Black either. Brittany Renner may be of mixed race. Her mother is likely a Caucasian woman. And I believe I've seen her talk about this relationship with her mother is so toxic. And I believe Brittany Renner, like much of the other commentators I followed who watched the Basketball Wives season, Brittany Renner latched on to Chantal in a trauma bond that really targeted Jackie. Chantal may have been on a mission to really try to repair and expose her mom, but expose her in a way that would make her feel like her mom is taking accountability or recognizing her pain. But what Brittany Renner did, when Chantal and Brittany were able to sit down and talk, it was always a pile on. Brittany Renner is not in a healthy space to give Chantal advice on how to navigate relationships with your mother. That was not possible in their relationship. And I'm sorry, I'm looking down at my notes again, but that just wasn't possible in their relationship. There should have been a lot of gentleness, a lot of pursuit of like a repair in the relationship. There wasn't. There was only attack, only finger pointing. And throughout the season, you would see Jackie, the mother, continually walk away. And I believe that wasn't cowardice. That was absolutely an effort to try to preserve any relationship or piece of the relationship that could be saved, and to try to preserve their family. Because although Chantal, and I will say this, we live in a generation, and the generation coming behind us are very confrontational, which oftentimes they may confuse with strength. I'm ready to hit this head on. But it's like a bulldozer. It's not like pinpoint precision, which they think it is. It's like bulldozing my way. I'm going to talk about this. Okay. But how about let's do it like with some precision and not just blowing up everything. And I think Chantal spent the season with Brittany egging her on, blowing up everything. And it probably could have been handled a lot better. And then you have Brittany, who has this toxic relationship with her mother, who knows what they were chatting about, texting, talking about off camera. We saw so much interaction that looked terrible on camera. I can't imagine what they were talking about off camera. Brittany Renner, also being from a family that is not Black, doesn't understand what this looks like. And I'm not making excuses, and in no way am I saying that Black children should not be afforded the opportunity to discuss their lives, their feelings, and be heard by their Black parents. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there is an interaction, because I think that a lot of the women that raised us may have been broken by broken women before us, our grandmothers, and not intentionally. But you are who you are. And like I said, mental health wellness was not a thing. And even to this day in 2025, there is no parenting handbook that can teach you how to do it correctly. So I think that's the biggest issue that I take with this entire episode. I was very, very, very disappointed. And it's not about blame, right? It's about honesty. And healing can't start with guilt, right? It just starts with the truth. And if you want to just have a conversation about the truth, then I think, and you abandon the desire to make someone feel guilty or to hold someone accountable. If you go in with the idea that, yes, I want to repair this, yes, I want to fix this, yes, I want to make things right, then I think your approach is going to be much different than Chantal's, which was, oh, look at you, walk away. Look at you. You're a bad mother. I don't think Chantal ever went into a conversation with Jackie, from what I can remember, with an openness to even have a discussion. Chantal was always on go, and I am like blown away by the thought of me defending a Jackie Christie. But I know that for a fact, every episode that I watched, and I watched every episode, the season finale is next Monday. I'll review that as well. But I've watched every episode, and what I've seen is that Jackie would argue with every other woman, confront every other woman, but when it came to Chantal or issues about their family and her and Chantal's relationship, Jackie was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And I think a lot of people said that, that makes you not, that looks like you don't want to be held accountable. But what I think, in fact, I think Jackie was showing respect for her entire family. And I feel so terrible for what Jackie endured throughout the season. Not that, I think she was trying to protect her daughter. And for that protection, she might not even know what that would look like in a healthy way, to deliver protection for your daughter in a healthy way. And Chantal just used harsh words. She withheld affection. I think a lot of us may have unrealistic expectations for women who just aren't there yet, as we want to live better lives and really put ourselves first. Because I also think it's a newer concept for this self-preservation that Black women are adopting and putting at the forefront of their lives. That I cannot fill your cup if I'm empty. So you have to think about women who never did this before, like a Jackie Christie, who may have been parenting after emptying her cup as a wife, exhausted herself as a basketball wife, and then tended to her children. Because that's how most women were raised, to first and foremost take care of the men in their lives. And that's all of our mothers. Your husband comes first, you make his food, you make sure his clothes are clean, you make sure the house is clean, and you're probably working too. And then the kids come in and the kids can kind of figure it out. Okay, so here are 3 really important tips that you can use if you're trying to repair a relationship with your mother or your daughter. You have to first name the unspoken. And a lot of times, we in the Black community across the diaspora, you don't confront your elders, you respect them, you don't air family business. And a lot of times, pain is internalized, right? But the healing can't begin if things are unnamed. So initiate a conversation without wanting something in return. Initiate the conversation to air your feelings, to air your grievance. Don't initiate the conversation to get something back. This will allow you to break the generational cycle of suppression and lack of vulnerability in Black families. Number 2, I would suggest learn emotional languages. Your mother or your daughter may not be emotionally fluent the same way you are. Many of our mothers were never allowed to be vulnerable. You've heard of like eldest daughter syndrome. These things really exist and really are traumatic in the Black community. Ask her about her childhood, study her story, observe how she shows care, observe how she shows love. That will allow you to understand how to approach situations, conversations that may be difficult or that will be difficult. This will allow you to see each other not just as roles of mother and daughter, but as people who have been shaped by different eras, different traumas, and have emotional tools to have difficult conversations. And number 3, repair the relationship with boundaries. So you can always express love and you say, I want us to repair our relationships, but I want us to respect our space. I want us to respect each other's choices. And I want us to learn when we need to walk away or pause the conversation, so things don't explode to no end. And this allows you to create a relationship based on mutual respect, not obligation as a mother-daughter. And you deserve in that relationship a bond that feeds you both. I am so glad we got to have this conversation. Thank you all so much for watching. And if you need help with credit repair or think you may need to file bankruptcy, Sloan Credit is always available for you. The information to reach us is in the description box. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you soon. Bye.